Hello, everyone. This is the speech that I was going to present at the Regional Council meeting on January 25th, 2024, before the Palestine motion got removed from the agenda by, it was motioned by Matt Sisko, Mayor of St. Catharines, and seconded by Laura Yip, Regional Councillor for St. Catharines. Shame on you, Matt Sisko. Shame on you, Laura Yip. And shame on every Regional Councillor who voted in favor of that motion. Only two exceptions, unfortunately. Councillor Haley Bateman, thank you so much for your solidarity and your support. And Councillor Andrea Kaiser, thank you so much for your solidarity and support. Here's the speech. My name is Fiona McKay. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a resident of St. Catharines, and I am on the board of directors of OPIRG Brock. OPIRG Brock is a nonprofit organization that has been working in the region since 1988, connecting people to community and campus activism. I wholeheartedly support Haley Bateman's motion supporting Palestinians living in Niagara and urge Council to push the provincial and federal government through all channels they have to protect and support Palestinians currently being murdered, injured, displaced, and starved in the Gaza Strip. I'm aware that some members of this Regional Council have stated publicly that this motion has no business at Regional Council, claiming Regional Council has nothing to do with and no influence on international conflict or Canada's federal foreign policy. As such, I would like to remind Council of statements and motions that were made and or passed here in relation to other international conflicts in recent years. Shortly after the events in Palestine and Israel on October 7, 2023, Regional Chair Jim Bradley released a statement expressing his solidarity with Israel, particularly highlighting, quote, Israel's right to defend itself in accordance with international law, end quote, and had the region's headquarters lit up in the colors of the Israeli flag. On February 28, 2022, 4 days after the Russian invasion into Ukraine, Regional Chair Jim Bradley released a statement in solidarity with the people of Ukraine, stating his belief in the importance of showing, quote, our support for Ukrainian people both here in Niagara and abroad, end quote. This statement was followed by a motion brought to Council on May 19, 2022, stating the region's continued support for Ukrainian refugees through the region's Community Services Department. This motion also stated, quote, whereas silence may be interpreted as complicity, end quote, before detailing the motion's resolutions. In summary, the resolution stated that Regional Council denounces Russia's attacks on Ukraine, supports the sanctions imposed on Russia by the federal government, and offered regional councillors an opportunity to state whether they wish to be individually voluntarily sanctioned by Russia, effectively banning them indefinitely from entering Russia. The above summarized motion was passed unanimously by Regional Council. I would like to remind the Chair and his Council of the emphasis in the statement in support of Israel on adherence to international law. This public emphasis would surely be prudent to state in support of Palestine, as the State of Israel is committing war crimes of collective punishment, the use of white phosphorus gas, bombing of hospitals, ambulances, schools, mosques, churches, refugee camps, and many more crimes. I would also like to remind Council of this phrase, which was included in the 2022 motion to support Ukraine, quote, silence may be interpreted as complicity, end quote. I ask the members of this Council to reflect on the urgency and vigor with which they responded to the crisis in Ukraine in 2022. In which the majority of the vulnerable persons who were eligible for receiving your grief, compassion, and support for refuge were white Eastern European persons. I implore you to consider why Ukrainian refugees were deemed deserving of Canada's hospitality for safety and liberation from Russia's fascist violent invasion of Ukraine, and yet Palestinian refugees are not deemed deserving of Canada's so-called hospitality from Israel's colonial occupation, terrorism, and genocide of Palestinian people and Palestinian lands. nor have Palestinians ever been validated by Canada's government as deserving of safety and liberation from Israel's invasion and occupation of their lands. And that is a shame. That is a shame. I urge regional councils to make it clear to Palestinians living in Niagara that their region supports them by doing the following actions in addition to those within the motion put forward by Haley Bateman. 1. That the Niagara Regional Council release a statement stating that they stand with Palestinians in Niagara and Palestinians in Gaza through the racist, violent, and deadly military attacks they are facing. And 2, that the Niagara Regional Council make clear to the federal government of Canada that the people of Niagara demand 1, an end to all arms sales and exports to Israel, and 2, to demand at the UN that the UN Security Council create and pass a binding resolution that immediately ends the occupation of Palestinian lands and creates an independent state of Palestine within 1 year. Thank you for allowing me to speak in support to this motion in support of liberation and justice. It's a shame that I couldn't speak at Regional Council. Thank you for your time. In solidarity.